I think for Rieckhoff, well, for myself actually, I think that's probably safer to answer from my perspective. They are very broad-ranging, I think. And so in terms of you do get the basic denial of basic rights, and I think in terms of communities and forest peoples and smallholders find that their rights, whether tenure, are often ignored, and that's in many of the countries that I work. But I think in terms of a lot of it is based on the systems that are in place, or lack of systems in place for the communities, for the indigenous peoples, and that quite often the systems don't, for example, reinforce these rights, but also, and of course acknowledge these rights, but also don't encourage people, whether government officials or whether community members, to understand that they have these rights. So I think in terms of the system and how the system has been evolving for many, many years means that the injustices, whether related to tenure or ignoring the rights that communities have, the customary rights that communities have for their land, that basically, because this has been going on for so many years, that these rights have been ignored. And even now, I think many communities understand that it's a fight. Either they don't realise they should be fighting for this in certain respects, or it's a fight that they realise it's not worth having. When I get asked that question at work, actually, it's always the answer of is governance, because it's the simple answer in terms of that even if the laws are in place, the laws are not enforced. But that's, I think, also cheating, and I think it's in terms of many people hide behind it in terms of it's just weak governance. There are other issues such as ignorance that, again, government officials from the local level all the way up to the high level, also for them it's a lack of understanding and ignorance of number one, what these rights should be and why these rights are so important. And also it's the ignorance of, by acknowledging and understanding these rights and enforcing these rights, actually it will help government officials do their jobs. Basically, for us, we're a capacity development organisation, and the way that we work is to build the capacity of local communities, government officials, civil society organisations, and so on, to basically ensure that the rights of communities, of smallholders, that they can have these rights are acknowledged, and also they can use these rights. So for us, a key thing, for example, is that governments throughout Southeast Asia, which is where we work, are giving tenure to communities. But the problem is they give the tenure, but they don't give the rights to these communities to actually do anything with the forests. And so for us, it's a fundamental issue that, okay, tenure is the first step, and it's an important step. But the next steps are the communities, for example, being able to go into the forest, harvest the timber, being able to process that timber, and to be able to maximize the income from this timber. I mean, again, maybe I go to the simple answer, but recognition of these rights. But I wouldn't focus on it as a just future, I would focus on it as a sustainable future. So by recognizing these rights, and this is a key component of how Rieckhoff works, is by recognizing, understanding these rights and ensuring these rights are safeguarded, protected, that would help to ensure that natural resources, whether forests or waterways, for example, are actually managed in a sustainable way. Because denying these rights leads to the reverse, leads to complete unsustainable management of these resources. So for me, a just future is based on recognizing these rights, but understanding in terms of we're not after, so for us, it's a vehicle towards the sustainable management of resources, which would deal with the injustices, deal with the poverty, deal with all these various environmental and social problems that there are in many of the countries that we work in.